Hello friends, welcome. Let me see, share this out. So do you ever feel like you're just trying to figure out this algorithm? So I'm really trying to go live more often, and today we're just going to do like travel Q&A. Just gonna send this out to, I don't know, a bunch of random people that I follow. People come in, awesome. If they don't, that's fine too. But what I do is usually have a list of talking points, because I could speak to myself like forever and just keep rambling. So I have my laptop over here so I can look stuff up. I was working to try to get live stream on my laptop, but I cannot figure out how to do the green screen. And I was getting like, okay, I'm wasting all this time trying to figure out the green screen and it's not getting anywhere. So here I am. I'm gonna actually put this in front of me, so maybe I can look like I'm looking at you while I can also access my computer. So bear with me here. Technical difficulties. So I'm at my home office, which is basically a desk in my living room because I have a small house. So welcome. Hey Kimberly, thank you for the gifts. Very awesome, thank you so much. So we're just doing cruise Q&A, or not cruise, I keep saying cruise. It's just travel Q&A. I think I'm better suited to answer general travel Q&A. I have experience with cruises just from watching. Yes, thank you so much. It's going great. I hope you're enjoying your cruise, Kimberly. I'm adjusting my camera here. I wear bifocals, so I'm constantly trying to read through my bifocals. So then also I'm trying to not have my jowls look like they're hanging down. So I have a little box prop situation going here. So some of the popular topics, and again, I forgot my water. Oh no, here it is. My gosh, I start choking and then have a dry throat. Thank you, Kimberly. So actually I'm gonna unplug this for a while because it's kind of making it wiggle. We don't need any more technical difficulties. I'm gonna come up with a better prop situation. I feel like the phone's gonna fall. Anyways, I was trying to make it so that I could go live using my laptop, because I do have a nice webcam, but I couldn't figure it out. So, and it's so challenging when you're trying to be a content creator, and certain applications you can gather all the footage and then you come home and you try to do your edits and stuff, and then there's some things that are more challenging to download the edits and add to different platforms. So I don't know, it's challenging. Oh, thank you. That photo in the background is from Mission Inn in Riverside, California. So that was a day trip I took with my sister, and that was really nice. There's a lot of spots that you can't get to unless you are on a private tour, not a private tour, but a tour where you pay for them to take you around to the property, or if you are a guest at the hotel. So we were neither. We were just there for the day, so we just took advantage. There was that area that the photograph is taken is an area where you can sit and eat. So we had breakfast and then we just walked ourselves around the property to do like a self-guided tour. So I did add a few videos on my YT. Oh, thank you for the ice cream. That's funny you sent that, because I've been craving ice cream and I was thinking I'm gonna go out later and get an ice cream and do my grocery shopping for the week. Reward myself for doing my chores. So we went up to Riverside, California. This was a few weeks ago. Toured around Mission Inn, which is a historic monument. We also noticed that there is a place called the Cheech, and that is a museum. A museum, art museum. let me pull it up here, in Riverside, and it features Cheech Marin Center for the Chicano Arts. So it features a display for Chicano art and culture. It looks really cool. I would go up there again and check that out for the day. Oh, thank you for the follow. Thank you, thank you. You guys, you don't know, that means so much because I'm trying to grow my presence here. I'm trying to grow my presence on YouTube. I just became a travel agent. I'm just kind of trying to be more serious about creating content, doing a good job, going live, really sharing what I know with other people, even using different AI tools to create packing lists, checklists, stuff like that to help travelers. So if you guys are interested in any kind, like if you have questions or anything that aren't covered here, you don't feel comfortable. Hey, KB, how you doing? If you don't feel comfortable asking in the chat, or maybe you can't type or whatever, I don't know. Feel free to email me. I have all the links in my bio, and I have all the links to my social media there as well. So compliment on the background photo. So I was talking a little bit about the area. The background photo is taken at the Mission Inn. It is a historic hotel and spa in Riverside, California. And I live near San Diego area. Oh, awesome. Let me follow you too, Juan. I think I can do that while I'm here. Yeah, here we go. And let me get back. So we took a day trip. I've been wanting to check out the Mission Inn. I wasn't even sure how much we would be able to see, but it was very limited, but the area was beautiful. So around that area, there is a museum, the Cheech Marin Center for the Chicano Art and Culture. We did not go into that museum, but we did walk around the Riverside area, and it was actually a big surprise to me because our main focus was to see the Mission Inn. We went to the Mission Inn, and that plaza there that you see is a restaurant. So we were able to have breakfast at that restaurant, and then we walked around the grounds, and you can still see some really, really beautiful architecture, and the decor at the Mission Inn is really nice. And it's definitely worth a day trip. Next time I'll plan more in my budget to visit the Cheech Marin Center for Chicano Art. I think the admission is about $16. You can get tickets, or you can just or you can schedule a tour. So the nice thing about the area that we visited in Riverside, a lot of the stuff we were seeing was free. So it's a great area. I'm always thinking about family travel and family experiences. So when I was a kid, my dad was in the Navy, and my mom had my parents had 5 kids, but my mom was there at home taking care of 5 kids and trying to figure out how to keep us entertained, educated, and have experiences and such on a very, very limited budget. So I'm always thinking about families that maybe can't just buy some airplane tickets and hop on the plane and take off. You know, whether you have 1 child, 2 children, 4, 5, 7 children, whatever, you have a certain travel budget, it may not be extensive. So today I'm talking about Riverside just by chance because I got a compliment about my background photo there. That is the Mission Inn and Spa. And so when we visited the Riverside area, we walked around the Mission Inn area, and then there is a spot, and you'll see a video on my YouTube. There's a spot called the Main Street Pedestrian Mall, and it happened to be that they were having a farmer's market there that day. So that was really cool. The farmer's market, you know, typical farmer's market. They have a lot of handcrafted things, soaps, candles, a lot of produce. The Riverside area in California is known for some of its agriculture, so a lot of local growers. Get a little sip of my water here. So we just walked around, and then there was a lot of sculptures and stuff in that plaza on the Main Street Pedestrian Mall area. And then there's also a spot called the Riverside Food Hall, Hall, and it's kind of like a food court, giant food court, all indoors, and then you can walk around, grab something to eat, something to drink. Really nice, inviting place. There also was a big patio with misters and everything, so that was really cool. So what question? Oh, thank you. Yeah, so that is the breakfast spot where we ate breakfast at the Mission Inn. We just did spur of the moment, and when I say we, it was me and my sister. I texted her a couple days before, hey, what you doing? Let's go up to Riverside, and she was down for doing that, so packed our adventure bags and off we went. So we decided we would eat on the way, but then we weren't hungry, so we just were, you know, two girls in the car chatting it up, and then we decided to eat when we got there. So it's really beautiful. The decor is typical kind of Mediterranean Spanish with the different plants that are, hey Lois, how you doing? Different plants like palms, bougainvillea. There was an orange tree, which was kind of funny because this lady, I don't know why somebody would do this, but she was there eating her breakfast, and I guess she asked the server for some limes, and so the server was going off to get her some limes, and this transpired while we were eating, so we kind of see, like, you know, what's going on. So then my sister sees, and she's like, what is the lady doing? Well, the lady had gotten up to get this fruit off of the tree, so she twists it off, and it's a little green fruit, so she goes and she sits down, and then here came the server with her sliced limes, or lime wedges. And then when we were finished eating, we were going to just walk around the plaza and, you know, take photographs here. There was a beautiful fountain you can see there in the photo with a nice marigolds planted around. So we were just walking around taking photos and stuff. And then I told my sister, look at this. And there was a sign at the fruit, or at the tree that the lady had pulled the fruit off of. Take a guess. What kind of fruit was that? It wasn't limes. It was navel oranges. So she picked it off thinking it was a lime because it was green, but it was a navel orange that hadn't finished growing. So I thought, okay, well, that's kind of weird. Like, you're sitting here in this beautiful plaza, and you're just going to randomly go and twist a fruit off of the tree. What, like, I don't know if she thought this was farm to table or what, but anyways. So we enjoyed our time there at Mission Inn. I have some videos up on YouTube, so you can follow me there. So let's talk today. Do you guys have any questions about travel? How to plan your travel, destinations? Oh, thank you, Lois. You're so sweet. Thank you, thank you. What questions might you have about travel, or organizing for travel, saving for travel, planning for travel? And think about the fact that travel can be near or far. You can do something as simple as walk out your back door or your front door and walk down the block and go discover new things in your neighborhood, and you're traveling, you know. So it's about education and exposure and just, you know, checking everything out. So some people have a bigger travel budget. Some people have a smaller travel budget. So I wear bifocals, so if I'm tipping my head back, I'm reading the commentary here. So if I had the camera up higher, which I'll work on that, it would be easier. But I was trying to stream from my laptop, but I couldn't figure out how to do the green screen, and I don't want to have my whole life revealed behind me in my office, so I like to use the green screen. I was trying to use Streamlabs and what is the other one? StreamYard, but it just was overwhelming me. I couldn't figure it out, so I said, let's just do it from the phone. So most of the time when you're watching people that are doing travel content, they're doing cruise content, and that is amazing. I love watching cruise content. I love watching all these amazing creators who present all this information to us. So I don't want to take anything from them, but my niche is just travel in general. So it could be by the car, by train, by ship, boat, even if you're taking a local tour around your community or your city, you're traveling. So some of the things that I like to talk about for tips on travel, are what type of travel documentation you need, how to plan your travel, and how to make sure that you have the correct and appropriate travel documentation, such as, oh yes, weekend road trips are the best. We've taken road trips to the Grand Canyon, and on that road trip we also, well, we had 2 different road trips to the Grand Canyon. One, we traveled through Las Vegas, and that was our kids' first time, and I have young adult children that they still live at home because we live in Southern California and it's very expensive. So we traveled through Las Vegas, and then we traveled down across the 10, and then you have to cruise. Yes, exactly, Juan. So we traveled across the 10 freeway, and then we passed on to a portion of Route 66, and there's a place there in Williams, Arizona called Bearizona, and I have all this again on my YT. The same name, link in bio as well. And at Bearizona, it's an animal rescue-like place where there's bears, there's goats, there's wolves, goats, what am I talking about? Sheep, all kinds of different animals, bison, and there's a portion where you can drive through, and there's a portion where you can walk through. So the walk-through area is gonna be more of the smaller animals like otters. There is another bear display, and you can see the bears there. What else? Badger, beavers, frogs, all kind of different stuff. And there's also a really, really nice restaurant on property, and at the restaurant there's a viewing window for the jaguar, so that's a pretty cool experience. And then after Bearizona, we went north and went to the Grand Canyon, checked out the Grand Canyon, then back down through Phoenix, and we stayed in Chandler, and then the next day we visited some friends in Maricopa, and then headed back home. Oh yeah, covered bridges, yes. Oh, that's so awesome. My aunt actually, 2 of my aunts actually live in Ohio. My mother is from Ohio, and I've had the opportunity to visit there a few times. It's really beautiful. Have you seen the cement cornfields there? That's what I call it. I don't know if it has an actual name or like official name. Okay, so travel documents, passports, birth certificates. Do you need vaccinations, immunizations? What do you need to make your trip successful? Visa. Where are you going, and how long are you going to be gone? Stuff like that. So some countries you need to have a visa if you're going to enter and stay for an extended period of time. So you're going to research your destination and make sure what is required as a guest to that country. And then passports, they are good for children. They're good for 5 years. For adults, they're good for 10 years. But you want to check again your destination, because some destinations require you to have your passport valid for a minimum of 6 months from the end of your travel date. So let's say you plan on leaving the country that you're visiting on October 24th, 2025. Some countries require that your passport would then be good for 6 months after that date, October 24th, 2025, the date that your travel ends. So you want to research your destination that you're going to, and then with the implementation of the Real ID for needing that for domestic flights and such. I'm confusing myself with the Real ID and the passport card. So Real ID is good for domestic travel. Let me actually look at that, because I have a passport, so I always forget to double check before I start presenting information. So let's see, Real ID and air travel. Starting May 7th, a Real ID compliant driver's license is required for domestic air travel. Okay, so if you're flying international, you're going to need something more than the Real ID. So I do have a printout from the government website, and it's talking about passports. So the passport book or the passport card, and I'm leading into that because I had gotten confused. The Real ID or the passport card. So the Real ID is good for domestic travel, and domestic travel would be within the United States. And I believe that is still going to include non-contiguous, meaning Hawaii and Alaska. They're not connected, but they're still part of the US. And then you want to check your Real ID or check your driver's license and make sure you have the Real ID. But let's talk about passports. So a passport book is good for international travel by air, sea, or land. And the passport card is valid for land and sea entry from Canada, Mexico, Caribbean, and Bermuda, but it is not valid for international travel by air. So that's one of the things I'm talking about. You want to make sure that you have your correct travel documentation, and you know what you need to get that as well. Like order a passport card. If you're going to do a passport card, may as well go ahead and get the passport book. It is an investment, I recognize that, but when you think about that, the passport is good for, let's say, just for case of argument, because you want to renew it in time for your travel, 4.5 years for children and 9.5 years for adults, because of that 6-month window that some countries require your passport to still be good for. When you divide the cost of the passport, what do they call the fees different things, the acceptance fee, the processing fee. So it's almost, I think it's like ends up to be $130 or $160. Let's see. Cost for first-time applicants. Adults, $165. Cost for renewal, $130. And then cost for children under age 16, $135. So that is an investment. But when you think about the time that it is good for, it's also a great identification option for kids before they get their driver's license. Okay, I'm gonna put you guys on pause for a minute if I can remember how to do that. Because just like kids, my dog, of course, needs to go out as soon as I get on live. So bear with me one moment and I'll be right back. Let me just pause. Okay, thank you for your patience. I'm back. Oh, I guess it takes off the green screen. Oh, goodness. Okay, let me see if I can get that back on there. So I loaded one. Oh my goodness. Well, I don't know. Maybe we're gonna work with just the... Huh. All right, well, bear with me here while I look bald because I have a ponytail. Oh, here, let's see, enhance effects. Okay, let's see if it will let me. Oh, darn it. There, now it's showing you my There we go. Okay. There we go. Thank you guys. Sorry about that. So, passports. So the passport for adults, okay, I don't know why. There we go. It was still showing me a prompt. All right. Passports for adults, $165. And then I think there's also a processing fee, or maybe that includes that processing fee. And $165 for adults, $135 for children under 16. It's a great option for kids before they get their driver's license to have a valid government identification. And then one thing a lot of people might not know, if you're getting your passport for the first time for children, both parents need to be there, or there needs to be a signed and notarized letter from the parent who won't be there saying that they give permission for the parent that is going with the child to get the passport for that child. And then when it's time for renewal, you're going to save some money. The renewal is $130 for adults. I don't know why it doesn't say how much the renewal is for kids. Maybe it's the same. And then if you get the passport card at the same time that you get your passport book, you save a little money in the acceptance fee or the processing fee. I don't remember. Let me check that real quick. U.S. passport. And then there's also websites where you can research your destinations and see what type of information the government is giving you about the destination, safety, security, stuff like that. So on the travel.state.gov website, there is some prompts and information. It'll show you that it says prepare to apply, compare a passport book and a card, find the processing times, take a photo, calculate your fees, fill out the form, get citizen evidence, and get photo identification. So one thing that's cool, I live in San Diego, so there are a lot of universities that they actually have a passport office on their campus. They typically are not very busy, and the couple times that I've had to do a renewal, I just walked into their passport office and did my renewal right there. They have the photographs, they have the mailing opportunity, because I think a lot of people go to the post office because then they can ship it off right there. So passport acceptance office on the college campus is another option. If you think about it, they have a lot of international students typically, and they need to renew passport and do that kind of stuff. So they can do the photograph and all that for you right there. You can also look on the travel.state.gov website. There's a lot of resources. You can check your application status. There's information in Spanish. You can find a location to apply. Lots of resources there. And then it even shows get email updates about my application status. Rush my passport. I need it in less than 6 weeks. I need it faster in less than 2 to 3 weeks, and restrictions apply. The turn time used to be at least a month, 2 months, 3 months. It seems like they're getting better at processing them. Of course, this can change because typically as people are getting closer to the summer, when families are more apt to travel, they're going to have a larger amount of passports that are being, or applications that are being submitted. So that's something you want to think about. If you kind of do it in the off season, you might get it back faster. Or if you don't need it for 2 or 3 months, then you wouldn't have to pay for expedited processing. All right, guys, do you have any questions? I could ramble for hours. I'm very entertaining to myself. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. I will post this replay. So if you have a question in the chat, I can read the question and then provide the answer. Another topic that is another topic that is important is travel insurance. So I'm just going to do a quick search here and see what we come up with. There are websites that will shop different policies for you, meaning that you can go onto that website and do like a side-by-side comparison. You can plug in the cost of each of the components of your travel and get information back on what your travel insurance is going to cost. So for example, I just typed in the Google search travel insurance comparison. There is a side-by-side plan comparison at Squaremouth Inc. That's a sponsored site. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt. Sometimes I try to specifically steer away from sponsored sites, but here's an example of what it is asking. Trip information. When are you leaving home? When are you returning home? What is your main destination? So if you just plug that in there, let's plug in some fake info. Let's go on a trip October 15th. And let's return October 31st. And let's say we are going to go to Germany. Okay. Continue to step 2. Are you, it asks, are you visiting multiple countries? Just enter your first destination. So then continue to step 2. And it asks country of residence, state of residence, citizenship, number of travelers, age of travelers. So I live in California, so I'm going to put California. And I'm going to say that we have four travelers. And I'm going to plug in just random ages. And the random ages are going to be all adults. And then continue to step 3. And it's asking, do you want cancellation coverage? Yes. Cover my trip cost. So then it's giving the option, you can plug in your total trip cost. And then it's going to ask your first deposit. So we're going to be going on a high ticket trip. We're going to say it's $15,000 for all 4 travelers. So in my mind, that's including our transportation, our lodging at the destination, our activities at the destination, entertainment, food, beverage, everything at the destination. 15,000 might be kind of low. So let's say I put my first deposit down on, and it's prompting me that I can't put my first deposit past today's date. So I'm going to say I put my first deposit down on July 3rd. Do I have payments left? No, the trip is paid in full, or yes, I do have payments left. So I think the reason why they ask that is because you're insuring the amount that you've already paid towards your trip. I think that's how I understand it. So if you put a deposit already of $2,000, at this point in time, you're not needing to insure the whole $15,000. So you're going to go ahead and do a search and see what are the different options. And again, you're going to have different components that you can add on to your coverage. Emergency medical, pre-existing medical, coronavirus pandemic, primary medical, medical deductible, 24-hour AD&D, evacuation, cancellation, interruption. So each of the different components are going to play into the cost of your insurance. So when you're doing the review for your travel insurance, you want to make sure that you're comparing apples to apples. What are the caps on the coverage? Is it an annual plan? Is it a per trip plan? I usually review Allianz, A-L-L-I-A-N-Z. And I don't know which plan I was looking at, but I noticed that depending on what type of plan you're getting, who the provider is, or carrier, the insurance carrier, they're going to have a cap on your trip coverage, per person coverage, and stuff like that. Chronic condition. So that I would recommend making sure that you're reading all the fine print, Lois. You want to make sure that a pre-existing condition is covered, and specific to the child's chronic condition, will that pre-existing condition coverage cover the different circumstances that could occur with your child's chronic condition. So they might say, okay, you have a pre-existing condition. Oh yeah, seizures. Yeah, so you want to make sure and read what is the, let me do a quick search real quick here and see, travel insurance. And then there might be different requirements. So even though we're so used to, in America, the privacy protection and stuff, the travel company or the insurance company might want some documentation that will say if it's managed or something like that. So, you know, what is your comfort level with providing that to the travel insurance carrier? Let's see, travel insurance for chronic illness. And then we'll just plug in seizures. I've been hearing a lot of ads for a travel insurance company called Faye. It says Travelers Health Insurance. So if you're looking at a general type of travel insurance that would cover things that are less specific, like lost baggage, delayed baggage, canceled air, and stuff like that, you may also read all the details of the policies you're shopping for, and then look more specifically to a coverage that is geared towards medical. Okay, so here we'll just talk about, this one is saying epilepsy is a pre-existing medical condition, and it is considered that by the travel insurance providers. So, and that would be any illness, injury, or medical condition for which you've received treatment. It's essential to declare it. And other pre-existing conditions, look for specialized travel insurance policies designed to cover medical emergencies related to epilepsy. So here they're speaking of epilepsy, but that's also a seizure type illness. So it sounds like you want to make sure you have the coverage in case your trip is interrupted, canceled, or medical evacuation is needed. And then Faye, let me see what Faye says. And this is just general information. It's not specific to your travel plans or specific to your child's illness, but it kind of gives you peace of mind. If you could spend an extra 100, 200, and I don't know what the coverage would be or the cost of coverage would be, and then you feel like a kind of like financial peace of mind that you would have a little bit of something to fall back on. So let's see what Faye says. It says file a claim in minutes. What is your trip type? What is covered? And so then what I find with all the different insurance coverages, depending on the level that you're looking for, you're going to have your basic, and then you're going to have your intermediate, and then you're going to have levels above that are covering more options, premium coverage, so it might have a higher coverage amount and such. And then you know, each traveler is going to have a different, it could be age related or it could be illness related. You're going to have a different need for different types of coverage. So the option samples that it's giving here for Faye, what's covered? Your health. So examples: emergency medical expenses, emergency medical evacuation, access, 20,000 plus telemedicine doctors, COVID-19. Covers your trip, cancellation, interruption, delay, non-medical evacuation, and missed connections. So these are the different kind of things that you also want to research. What exactly is required to file a claim? What do the reviews say by people who have used this certain insurance, whichever one you're shopping for and which one you're landing on? What do the reviews say? Are the claims easy or are they really difficult? What type of documentation do I need? And collect the documentation as you're going along rather than trying to delay. Right, exactly. That's a totally valid question, Lois. So some of them, let me see if we can see more specifically. Trip delay. Let me just Google that. Trip delay due to medical. Okay, so it's going to depend on what point you're at. If you're delayed before your trip begins, cancel for medical reasons insurance. This travel insurance benefit may reimburse your prepaid non-refundable trip costs. So maybe the things that you can't get refunded due to the medical situation, it would cover that. So it may not even be the whole trip, depending on at what point the medical issue happens. And then also there's going to be different aspects, like you might be able to get a refund on the air, directly working with the air provider, the flights, if you can provide supporting documentation. So there's lots of different ways to recoup your cost aside from the insurance claim. And the reason why it's kind of vague and hard to give a straight, like clear answer, because depending on the type of coverage you purchase, you would want to make sure that it includes what you need. So the next example, trip interruption insurance. This covers situations where you need to cut your trip short due to a covered medical emergency. And again, you want to look at the fine print and see, did I purchase this type of trip interruption insurance, or did I only purchase the one that is a delay caused by the airline and something like that? So I haven't shopped specifically for that type of coverage, but let's plug that in and see what we get. And again, I'm going to look at Allianz, ALLIANZ. So it's kind of hard to get a basic answer, but here we're going to look at all plans, and then they offer a lot of different options. So let me just read these off. 1 trip prime, all trips executive, 1 trip rental car protector, 1 trip basic, 1 trip premier, 1 trip medical emergency. Yes, exactly. So let's take a look at basic. 1 trip basic. This affordable plan includes trip cancellation and interruption benefits plus limited post-departure benefits such as emergency medical coverage and lost or damaged baggage benefits. So click on Learn More. And you can see where, depending on where you're traveling, if you're flying somewhere rather than driving in a car or going on the bus or the train, your cost is going to be different. So here it says epidemic coverage, and that is epidemic related covered expenses, trip cancellation, and it has a little like hurricane symbol, but it doesn't specifically say only for hurricane. The benefit is up to $10,000 per insured traveler. Trip interruption reimburses you for the unused, non-refundable portion of your trip. So if you go on the trip and it's a 15-day trip, but you've already, quote, used 5 days, it might be prorated that way. Emergency medical, $10,000 is the coverage. Provides benefits for losses due to covered medical and dental emergencies that occurred during your trip. So this is a sample. Oh yeah. So this is a sample of what could be covered. And it says there is a maximum for all of a $500 maximum for all covered dental expenses, which that's kind of low, but it could get you to a situation where you're stable with your dental emergency until you can use your own dental coverage. And that's another thing. If you're staying in the US, it's less likely that you would need and I'm thinking cruise mind now because you said not flying, but you didn't necessarily say only staying on land. You could also check with your credit cards if you're paying with a credit card, and that might be a benefit that's already included. You can check, yeah, there you go. You can check with your medical insurance. Some higher level plans might cover a medical expense, but again, you want to get that cleared. The way I've done it for myself personally in the past, I just buy the plan, and then later I think, oh yeah, maybe I should have checked my credit card, or maybe I should have checked my coverage with my own medical plan, and so then use the insurance that you purchase for your trip as an extra. So you wouldn't be able to claim twice, but you could make sure that you have the coverage that you need. There are some credit cards that charge an annual fee, and and not to say that only the ones that charge an annual fee have trip insurance, but you would want to check that as well. And then also, would the insurance you're purchasing be valid for a cruise? And again, when you're pricing it out, you can look at that. You're going to plug in all the details of your trip. You're going to say, I'm going on a cruise. I'm taking 2 or 3 people. This is the price of the cruise. And then make sure that you have the medical coverage. Another factor in the insurance is emergency medical transportation. So the coverage amount is showing here up to $50,000. Now this is just the basic plan, and I didn't plug in any figures or information, but it gives you an idea of oh, here's another little thing. It says pre-existing medical condition, and then it has available. Your plan may provide pre-existing medical conditions coverage if you, a traveling companion, or family member has a pre-existing medical condition. And then they give they give more details about what that is. And then within 120 days prior to and including the purchase date of the policy, if it has caused you to get treatment. So there's a lot of different information there. So whichever one, right. Yeah, exactly, Lois. So the thing is that it's like better to be safe than sorry. We took my mom on a Disney cruise. She is not ailing. She is not feeble, but she was 80, I think 80 when we took her. So the reality is she's not a spring chicken. Even though she's able-bodied, she gets around, she has no like pre-existing conditions that need medication. You just never know when a medical emergency can happen. And with your son having a pre-existing condition, you would definitely want to get all the details of the coverage before you purchase, and then compare the plans. Now, I think what is interesting here and what's nice is that this is just a basic plan, and typically those are going to be more economical, but you don't want to get the most economical and then not have the coverage that you need. But this appears to be a pre-existing condition that might have just popped up. So like if you had to have treatment within 120 days, within 120 days of your trip, and it gives all the specifics. You purchased your plan within this amount of time. That wouldn't really fit in with you because your son already has this diagnosis and already has the condition. Yeah, but with my mom, I looked at the plans and I was like, okay, well, this plan costs $100 more, but it also includes if she needs to be evacuated from the ship. And my understanding is that the ship does have basic medical, but also like life-saving measures to an extent. So it may or may not require an evacuation if he had a medical incident, because they do have fully qualified staff on the ship to handle a lot of different conditions. Now, another thing would be calling the cruise line that you settle with and decide and have a conversation with them. Hey, so my son has this condition. He has medication. Here are the triggers. Is this something that the medical staff could handle? Like if you're out to sea, you're on worst case scenario, out to sea on a sea day, would he be stabilized till you get to the next port and then do the evacuation? Oh, okay. And I'm not familiar with what that is, but if you're having that conversation with the staff, but then, you know, like kind of wrapping your head around the worst case scenario, but then going into it thinking, that's not going to happen, but if it does, here's this safety net that we've put in place. I mean, with my mom, she doesn't have any pre-existing conditions except minor type aging things, but in my mind, I was like, oh my God, she's going to fall, she's going to break a hip, she's going to need to be evacuated. So we wanted to have that insurance just to make sure that that even the most basic thing could be taken care of. Yeah, no problem. And sometimes even if you're working with a travel agent, you have a really specific situation. So either your travel agent or you can call the cruise line and get some firsthand information. And even then, like, you know, get to that comfort level that you are comfortable with the answer. Even call back and get the answer again. And then that way you can be informed and make an informed decision. I feel like the main thing is if it's manageable, then you want to go ahead and be prepared and go on your vacation and not be afraid and stay back. I feel like cruises are a nice enclosed, kind of like a traveling house. I do love the way that Lisa explains it. Lisa of Chip and Lisa's Adventures. She says like the stateroom that you're staying in is like your bedroom and the rest of the ship is your house. And it totally makes sense because mostly you're sleeping in your stateroom. And when you're traveling with teens, they like to stay in there unless they go to the kids' kids club, teen club, the lounge, meet some friends and whatnot. And so then the rest of the ship is your house. So you're going to your quote kitchen, aka restaurant or buffet, to get your food. And so you know, it's like a little traveling house. And I feel like it's a good option for people with mobility issues, pre-existing health conditions that can be managed, and pretty low key. Like, it doesn't have to be a big old wild party ship. There's always an opportunity to find a quiet spot in the ship. And you know, I think it's a great option for families, and pretty budget friendly. When you think about that, the cruise includes your transportation once you get to the port, transportation, entertainment, food, basic drinks unless you get the drink package. But even if you don't get the drink package and you purchase drinks a la carte, as a way to save money, maybe you don't drink alcohol and you just have the basic bubbles drink package, depending on which cruise ship you're on. It's got your entertainment. It's got everything. You know, lodging. I don't know about you, but whenever we go on vacation, we're trying to find the most economical lodging, and even the most inexpensive one is at least $200 before you add on tax and what do they call it? It's like a hospitality fee depending where you go. And I don't know, San Diego is very expensive with hospitality fees and stuff. Yeah, it would be easy. And I feel like even people with mobility issues, once you get on the ship, you can become more comfortable with navigating the ship. I've seen scooters, I've seen people with canes, and all different kind of, like, you know, situations that you can choose to participate in a lot or a little. Even if you, I feel like even if you do nothing but get on the ship, eat, drink, and enjoy your time with rest and relaxation, it's money and time well spent. Do you guys have any questions? I can answer questions for you. Do you like to use a checklist when you're packing your bag? Do you... Oh yeah, there you go. And I've seen, actually there are also services where you can rent a wheelchair, scooter, mobility device and have it delivered to the ship and ready to use. Let's see, rental, mobility. And I think it's pretty common that people, maybe when they're at home, they don't use a device, but then when they're on vacation, they're expecting to be doing more. So they do need to get a device. Just a preliminary search, Scootaround. Scootaround is a company that specializes in cruise rentals, offering a variety of devices such as scooters, wheelchairs, and power chairs. So that's a good little option there. Oh, I got to do my little puzzle piece. Whoa. Let's see if it worked. Okay, we're good. So then if you're not used to bringing a wheelchair, you could look at that. Also be aware of the cabin size and whether the scooter or wheelchair will fit in there. Can he transfer from the wheelchair and walk into the stateroom on the cruise ship? Oh, thank you, Lois. That's so sweet. I hope the information helps you plan your trip. I am a travel agent and I can book cruises. I am getting started, but we can also look at setting up the scooter rental and all that for you. I'm happy to help you do some research on this, even if you're not ready to book yet. you can just email me. I have my email in my links up there, and just hit me up with some questions, and I'm happy to help you do some research. It does also say to book your rental as early as possible if that's something that you need, and then work with the cruise line or your travel agent to see if you can qualify to get an accessible room, and then what will you do with your device on the cruise when you're not using it. So if he can transfer from the wheelchair and walk into the stateroom, then that would be easier. So you can, next March for his birthday. Oh, that's fun. You can fold up the wheelchair or the scooter, minimize the size, just talk about all that stuff and get it into the stateroom, and where to store it when you're in the stateroom. You don't want to just leave it in the hallway. I have not been to Rome yet. Does your screen name say Felix? That is my son's name. I have not been to Rome. I feel like everything is on my list, and I usually travel with my husband. I don't know that Rome is at the top of his list, but if I said, hey, I booked a trip to Rome, he would say, okay, my bag is ready. So, and we live in San Diego, so we have access to international flights in San Diego. It's just a matter of the price and time off of work, and then, balancing with other vacations and such. Are you planning a trip to Rome? Let's see. Any more questions, you guys? Feel free. You can hear. Thinking of going to Rome, wondering what is the best hotel. I would imagine that you would have a lot of options. So that's one good thing. In a large city with a lot of tourism, you're going to have a lot of options at different price points. So one thing that I have heard is if you settle on a specific hotel, make sure you call and make sure that the photographs on their website are representative of the actual rooms that they are renting out. Now, Chip and Lisa's, I always just call them Chip and Lisa, but I think it's Chip and Lisa's Adventures, Chip and Lisa's Travels. I have to make sure of that. They rented a hotel, I believe, in Venice. When they got there, it was not the same as the photographs on the website that they booked through. I believe they did book direct with the hotel, meaning they weren't using a third party. And then when they got there, the rooms were different because the hotel was going through a renovation, if I remember properly. So if you are booking your hotel, you want to make sure that you're getting what is being shown on the website. I'm trying to get to their TikTok so I can see. Hopefully I have my speakers muted. Chip and Lisa. Chip and Lisa. Oh, it's just called Chip and Lisa is their screen name. Yeah, so you want to make sure. Yeah, there you go, Lois. Yeah, exactly. And then another tool that I like to use is Google Earth. So we are planning a trip to Catalina, and we wanted to find out if the hotel that we're staying at is a walkable distance to the spot where we're going to catch the ferry to go across to Catalina. So I look at Google Earth, zoom in on the area around the hotel, and then see like what are the sidewalks like? Is this pedestrian friendly? Or are we going to need to have another expense and try to get an Uber or something like that. So that's another consideration. So when I use Google Earth, I could see, oh, there's a sidewalk right here, and we can easily walk the sidewalk. We're going to cross over on this bridge that, again, pedestrian friendly, and then, hi, Lalila, and then go down from the bridge, under the bridge, and all like protected from traffic. And it says it's about a, what did it say, 30-minute walk, which we both walk really fast. So it's going to be a very early morning to catch the ferry, but we'll be there and it's walkable. So I like to use Google Earth to see, you know, what is the location and where are we going. And I think that helps when you're looking into different hotels and what area are you looking at? What does it look like? Is it sketchy? Is it really congested? You can read reviews and such that from other travelers that will give you an idea, and then kind of take it with a grain of salt. Who are the people that are reviewing? Was it a single young lady who's traveling on her own, or is it a middle-aged man? Or, you know, because the demographic is going to change the way you look at what your destination is. A young lady or middle-aged lady is going to be more susceptible or more interested in what is the safety factor for her traveling on her own. Felix, I do not have a specific travel agency for Italy, but I believe, and I'm going to give you reference over to Chip and Lisa on TikTok, and you could reach out to her because I know that they have been to Europe and Italy, and she may, oh, you know what? She may actually have their hotel on her TikTok. So do you follow Chip and Lisa? And not that I want to give away business because I am starting out as a travel agent, but I feel like it's a great idea to become acquainted with somebody who's been there, and she has walked around the city and she has stayed at the city, and this video she has with the pasta is killing me. I want this pasta Alfredo so bad. But if you follow Chip and Lisa on TikTok and see, I'm looking at her page right now. Let me see if I can tag you, and then you'll be able to, let's see. Oh, I found you. Okay, I'm going to tag you on this Alfredo video, and then you'll be able to see her page. It's Chip with, and then N. Oh, she's actually live right now. Chip, and then letter N, Lisa. Chip and Lisa. Oh my gosh, I have to leave that video because it's killing me. The pasta and the Alfredo sauce, and yeah, so she's live right now. I love watching her and getting all that information. But she has been to Europe. I don't know. Let me see if she has, because she also has playlists on TikTok. So let's see if she has one for Europe. Because I know, oh yeah, Europe cruise vlog. Athens, Europe, Greece. But definitely check out her page. Yes, exactly. Chip and Lisa. And I tagged you on one of her videos, the fettuccine. So, but she may have some recommendations, you know, boots on the ground type of, she's been there, and she can give you some heads up on some good hotels. Shoot, I wish I could find that video. And so that's the thing with this community on TikTok, that you know, there's plenty of clients to go around. And I think for each of us that loves to travel, we like to make sure, oh, here's Naples. Oh, here we go. Rome, Italy. Okay, I'm going to tag you on this video. And she's live right now. So if you left my live to go see her and ask her that question, then I would not be offended at all. Let me tag you on this Rome video. Oh, I forgot the @ sign. But anyways, I think that lovers of travel like to help other lovers of travel. So if we can direct you to somebody that can help you. Oh my gosh, this food. Oof. Okay, I tagged you in her Rome video as well. So it says, how did we get scammed? But don't be put off by that. She has other videos about Europe, Rome, Italy, day 2 in Rome. And I think on this particular video, she was traveling by cruise ship, but they did have a night over in Rome, and that probably was a different trip. So yeah. Oh, thank you, Lois. I mean, I feel like, you know, if I can help you find the resources, then, you know, that's, and here she is. I watch content instead of television. It's kind of crazy, but thanks for hanging out with me, Lois. You're so sweet. And thank you for all the gifts. I didn't even set a live goal, did I? I don't even know. I was getting so frustrated. Well, frustrated isn't really the word, but impatient with trying to set up this green screen because I wanted to use my webcam, but it worked out fine anyways. And then I actually was cracking up because for me, when I say I want to use a green screen, it's a effect that you can then put like a fake background or, yeah, exactly, Lois. A fake background or put your own photo, like I have this photo of Mission Inn. But on one of the YouTube videos I was trying to watch, I was cracking up because the guy literally was showing how to set up a backdrop that was a fabric green screen, which I get that's like old school when you're going to take photos and stuff. And maybe it's a thing for people doing videos, but I was talking about the literal effect. So what I try to do also is I have YT, which, you know, I think we're supposed to not try to say that here. I have everything in my bio. I have all my connections there. I will post this there as a replay. We can post videos up to 60 minutes long here on TikTok. I don't know who watches those, but yeah, perfect. Thank you, Lois. But I like to reuse my content so that the time I'm taking to do any edits or do any live streams, answer questions, I like to repurpose those and post them on other platforms so that we get maximum, what do you call it? Benefit. Because if I'm going to be growing the platforms and growing my business and such, then I want to repurpose. And, you know, I hear creators that say, oh, I don't, I'm going to go over there in case TikTok goes away. But I think it's better to kind of grow them concurrently. So, and I don't even know how long I've been live. Let me see if I can see. Let me see. I'm going to press this button. No. Oh, it says I received 40 comments. That's a good little thing. I think I've been at least an hour because when the little puzzle piece comes up, that's usually at an hour. So anyways, what I'm trying to say is I'll probably go ahead and get off of here, take a little break, do some more weekend stuff. I have a book that I've been reading for, I'm a pretty slow reader, because not that I'm a slow reader. Once I get into it, I can really move through the pages, but then I get thinking of, oh, let me go check this, or let me go check that. And then I want to, distract myself and do other stuff. So, all right, you guys, hopefully you enjoy the rest of your weekend. For me, I work Monday through Friday in my typical 9 to 5. Sometimes I do overtime on the weekends. Because of the holiday, I went ahead and just took all the time off. I don't know, I might jump on, and I work remote, so I can do a little bit of my 9 to 5 here at home remote. So it's not really like a big deal. But hopefully you guys have a great weekend, and thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for all the gifts, and thank you for sharing the live, tapping the screen, all of the things. I really appreciate you guys, and you guys have a great weekend. Thank you so much, Lois. You too. Bye-bye, guys.